Have you ever had fear punch you in the throat? Think about it. When's the last time that you've been faced head on with fear and it stopped you in your tracks? Take a moment, sit there. That was me not too long ago. I'm not trying to scare you about fear, but I want to tell you a story that happened to me. It's not story, it's real life, to where I had to lean into my faith, my level of emotion, and also what do you do when fear hits you square in the neck and throat punches you and knocks you down? That's what this week's podcast is all about, is talking about fear, how it takes over, and how do we get out of that storm. Not too long ago, I know I spoke about this, but we had a bad issue that happened at one of our properties that we were trying to sell. And here's the story. We've been struggling to get everything done on the punch list. We're getting through it all, not quick enough. And we're coming down to the last week before we're going to close on this house. Everything is moving together. We have some challenges on a couple items. Then 3 days before closing, we have a huge issue that comes up with the heat in the house. Still to this day, we don't know how this happened, but what happened was whoever was the last person in left the heat on overnight and warped the floors. So we're going through a claim process on that, but it looks like we'll be able to salvage a lot of it this 3 days before closing, and this happens. And there's no way to get anything fixed. The floors are warped. You have to let the house cool off, go through the process, and file an insurance claim. What was God telling me at this point? I don't know what the lesson was, but the fear that I was going through was the roughest part of this process of doing affordable housing development. 3 days before we close, this happens. We lose the buyer. We refund his earnest money. We take care of his expenses because that's what we should do. But I'm paralyzed with fear of what do I do next? I lost a substantial amount of money from selling this house. How do I tie this all back together? What do I do? There was a lot of soul searching. This happened on a Monday. And that rest of that day, I didn't know. I was somewhere else. I did not feel like I was on this planet. Didn't know where I was at. I was walking around mindless. But there was something in my back of my mind, and I went for a very long walk. Something kept on telling me to start having that honest conversation with God. Why did this happen? What can we take from this? How do we resolve this going forward? And then how are we going to be okay? How did it shape me? It shaped me this way. There was something else going on that we could not sell this house, and we needed to find that other item, which we have. I'm working on that now. Once I get further along in it, I'll share. I don't want to share until we finalize that. When items like this happen in our lives, there's lessons. And I know that's an old adage, but it truly is a lesson. There's something in there that you need to learn, and you have to figure that out. Again, we're back to faith, guys. You have to have faith that the God, universe, everybody involved has brought you into this place for a reason. When this happened, I had no clue, didn't understand. But once we started digging underneath the hood, we found another challenge. That challenge would have caused more challenges down the road if this house would have sold. Guess what? This instance truly changed and saved us, because this other challenge would have been a very, very costly issue. God took care of us is an understatement. Did I know that then? No. But as a few days went by and we started going through a process and reevaluate everything that's going on, I learned that we were being put in a position to learn, better ourselves. The other thing is, I wouldn't wish the insurance claim process on anybody. It is a tremendous process to go through. And to say that it sucks the life out of you is an understatement. One of the other great things that have come out of this is our inspector is also a certified home inspector with the state and specializes in new builds. Once we get all this rectified and everything's good to go, we're going to have him go in and tear apart everything, look at everything top to bottom, document everything. If there's anything that's out of whack, we're going to make a change and fix it. Was this one of the biggest storms I've ever faced in my life? By all means, yes. Storms are brought into our lives to make us stronger and to shape us on the inside to become that better person. It's also a huge learning moment. There's multiple learning points in this process for me. And there's a few more that I've started to discover, but I need to continue to vet them out. I can tell you this. I don't think there's any way that we can stop storms, because God, universe, whoever you believe in, we'll just stick to God and faith. That's as simple. Storms come in our lives in all types of fashions and situations. I don't think there's anywhere that states that God or Jesus says that you won't have a storm. It's a matter of how do you get through the storm, and how does that storm shape you? Does it make you better? Does it make you worse? What do you do when you're in a storm? I know that I have to be more grounded in my faith as I go through the storm. I need to make sure that I'm focused on what's in front of me for today, presently, and not worry about 2 weeks from Tuesday. I know we've spoken about change in prior episodes. This episode is about fear. Fear is tied into change. People fear change. So how do you take that change on? And as we get closer to the end of this episode, it's a little bit longer than normal. Can you think of a place in your life right now that fear is controlling you? And is there a way that you can sit down and connect with God and start asking questions? Why am I going through this storm? Why am I scared? Why is fear punching me in the throat? Take some time today. Write it down. Do it today. If you want to share it, please comment #ChasingHappinessFaith. I'd love to be able to see it in the show notes or in the comments. I want to hear what you're facing and how you're getting over it, because ultimately, we're in this life together and we're community. And that's the whole purpose of me putting out these videos is I want to create community. I want to create other like-minded people that we can connect with and help one another, because life isn't always perfect. It's not always all the roses and all these great things that you see on social media. We all have storms we go through. And that community that you have, those 3 to 5 to 7 people that you surround yourself with, are going to be the ones that help you get through the storm. They're going to be with you thick and thin. As we wrap up, I will continue to share on this topic as things get finalized. I'll leave you with a couple questions and then we'll drop off here is this. Fear is a powerful feeling. How are you overcoming it? Are you looking to God? Are you looking for vices? Drinking, smoking, binge watching, those type of things where you're numbing yourself. I'm putting my head in the sand. And it's okay to do that, but you've got to get back up. You can't keep on doing these things to yourself and then expect it to change. It won't. It's been tough. This has been a tough episode for me, but thank you for hanging in. We're a little bit longer than normal. If this episode resonated with you, can you please share, comment, give it to somebody that's battling fear right now? I'd love to be able to connect with those individuals. And you're not weak because you're afraid of fear. Be powerful. Put faith in your corner. Start getting yourself out of the storm with the guidance of faith in God. Next Saturday, we'll be putting out another episode in this series, and we're going to talk about how we do not have to do it alone and how community can carry you through the storm. Hope you have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe and stay healthy.